Hi guys, welcome back to the Financial Interest YouTube channel. My name's Dan. So in this video I'm going to do something slightly different than my normal format. I'm going to do more of a kind of conversational based video, just because I'm testing out some just different ways of making videos really. So in this week's video I'm going to give my experience of Phil Town's Rule 1 workshop. And what I should say is I actually did the workshop in 2019, so my experience might be slightly different to the one now with the virtual workshop, so please bear that in mind. But I'm sure that the general content of what was received in the workshop is pretty much the same. So let's get on with the video. I discovered Phil Town back in 2019, probably early 2019, and I started watching a lot of his videos on YouTube. And then also that kind of guided me towards his podcast and also his books. So I noticed on his website that you could apply to do the free workshop that he offers. So all I did there was applied online, and it says you've been successful. So I guess that's kind of the case on a first come, first served basis for the courses. So I did that, sent my email off, and then got a reply saying, oh, congratulations, you've been accepted. And I think they call it like a scholarship program, just meaning it's free, but I assume that that's the case for most of the people who kind of go to it. So that was the point when it kind of happened. This was May 2019, so a couple of months before I did it. I actually went to Atlanta in July. So in the lead up to the workshop, they give you access to Phil Town's website, his toolbox, so you can kind of familiarize yourself with that. They also guide you to watch around 20 videos that's on the website as well, just to give you a good grounding in what's going to happen at the course before you actually get there. So like I say, they recommend reading the latest book, Invested, and also watching the videos, and then also to download the paper trade or sign up for the paper trade version of Think or Swim, which is TD Ameritrade's platform, because they use this a lot in the workshop for doing paper trading. I actually found myself, I was actually on holiday in the Philippines at the time, so I actually flew from the Philippines to Atlanta to attend the course, and it was kind of quite cool because I got like a bit of a mini holiday out of it. Got to hang out in Atlanta for a couple of days before the course started, which was like really, really good to do. And this is when they were holding the in-person courses in Peachtree City, which is maybe around 45 minutes outside of Atlanta. So I stayed in the hotel for the 3 days of the conference. So on the first day I got there, did all the registration and things like that. That was a really smooth process. You need a laptop to do the course, just because of the Think or Swim platform that you need to have on that, and also to make notes as well. The workshop's actually quite intense. The first 2 days of the 3-day workshop, they were both kind of 10 or 11 hours a day. So it's kind of really intense. You kind of pack a lot of information to what you get into like a very short amount of time. And the way it's structured is you see Phil like throughout the event, but he's only kind of the main speaker for parts of the presentation. It's actually taken by his Rule 1 coaches. So he's got like a lot of coaches who he's trained up in the same way that he invests. And these are all people who've been previous students, so they've gone on to do further courses and then actually become one of his instructors. So that's quite cool as well, because you know that these people a few years before, they were actually in the same position as you. When I was there at the course, I actually bought this, which is kind of the class notes. So you can see that there, it's the notes, and this is actually around 270 pages long, and this has got really good information. I still refer back to it now as well. So if you listen to Phil and Danielle's podcasts, or you've read the book, you can kind of, or even seen the YouTube videos that he makes, you can kind of imagine what you expect to learn. So you will kind of go through the 3 days, and you will first start with the 4 M's, which is meaning, moat, management, and margin of safety. So these are the kind of key things that Phil looks at when looking to understand the business. First, it needs to have meaning, so it has to be something that's within your circle of competence. A company that you kind of aligns with your values as well. So, if you're like into the environment, you might be investing in solar companies, things like that, rather than oil companies. So it has to be something that really aligns with your value. And then you go into the moat of the company, and then he'll look over all the different moats. I've covered that in some of my videos, which is based on what I learned in the workshop. So I'll leave a link for that as well. So he'll go over like how to make sure the company's got a moat, the key numbers you need to look at for that as well. And then we'll go into looking at management. So does the management align with the shareholders? It will look at things like, are the company doing share buybacks? Is the CEO have integrity and things like that, and all the little bits of research you can do into that. And that's all looking at the management team from that perspective. And then once he's kind of looked over those three main things, then he goes on to his valuation methods. And anyone who's familiar with Phil knows that he uses three different valuation methods. One is the what he calls the 10 cap, another is the payback time, and the final is the margin of safety. So there are three different calculations, and they'll all give you like slightly different prices for the company. And like some of those methods are more like geared towards established companies who might be growing slower, and then other methods might be geared towards faster growing companies. So he looks at all three of these valuation methods and teaches you how to use those in practical examples with a company. And what was good about the in-person workshop is you kind of split off into small groups. I met like lots of people there. I mean, I was traveling from the UAE. I met people there from India, obviously like people from not far away in the US, in Canada, and also in Europe as well. And a guy in South Africa. So it's quite a broad range of people who I got to meet there. And that was good about actually staying there, because after the day is done, you can kind of go for a drink, like chat to people about what you've learned during the day. And it was kind of a real like good group experience. And then after learning about the 4Ms and the valuation methods, then what you go on to look at is what Phil calls inversions and rebuttals. So this is the point where you might be wrong about something, so you need to make a counter argument. So in this case, you need to look at the things that would persuade you not to buy the company and then counter them with another argument. So an example of this might be something like Chipotle, because they had like a food poisoning outbreak. So that might be one of the inversions, the fact that, okay, so they've got food hygiene and food safety issues, and that's actually caused them a lot of problems and to lose customers. But you then have to counter that argument by saying, okay, well, we looked at the company, the management was really decisive, and they came out and said, these are the measures we're going to put into place. And because of our research of the management, we trust that what they're doing is right. And actually, we believe that they're going to fix it and the company will be back to its normal levels within 3 years. So that's one of the things that's key to actually researching the company, the inversions and rebuttals. So you have to look at the negative side and then counter that argument, just to kind of flip your thinking, really, to make sure that you're not just getting carried away with your own research. Because obviously, if you find a company that you're excited about, you only want to see the good things in it. So you kind of need this to avoid the confirmation bias. And what you will do in your like little workshop group, you actually like pick a company, and then you will go through the whole analysis process at the end of it and then present it to your group. So once you've got you've like done a bit of research, you've looked at the valuations, you looked if the company is on sale and things like that, then you'll actually go and present that case to your group. So you'll present in front of around 8 people, and then your coach, whoever he thinks the best idea is, they'll get shortlisted and go through to kind of a final. And then at the end of the workshop, they'll have like have the best ideas presented from the group, and whoever kind of wins the best one at the end gets a small prize. And of course, once you've kind of looked at the valuation and you have a company on your watch list, you need to wait for an event to put it on sale so that you can actually buy it. So you also learn a lot about the different types of events, whether they're macroeconomic events, industry-specific events, or company-specific events. That's kind of one of the main sections that they look through as well on the course, to make sure that you understand the type of event that's happening. And on the second day, in the evening, we were fortunate to obviously be able to go back to Phil's ranch, which is kind of half an hour from where the event actually takes place. So that's cool. You get to kind of hang out, have a barbecue, speak to all the team over there, see the horses, and it's like a really kind of cool experience to go and do that. And I think that's one of the main things that I would, be missing out on now with the virtual courses, because it's okay to kind of do it all over Zoom, but having the experience to actually go to the place, I think was a really good one. And I hope that they actually do bring the in-person courses back again once everything is back to normal in the world and people can travel a bit more freely. And now, one of the things I didn't really expect so much from the course was actually options. So this was actually probably the most interesting part of the course for me, because I'd never really looked into options before. So I'm not really going to cover that in this video, but the way that he uses options is quite cool to kind of help reduce cost basis into a company he wants to buy. So the idea here is that he's selling put options, because essentially he wants to buy the shares, but he just wants to get them at a certain price. So this way you're collecting a premium if you sell the put. So you're collecting money and you actually want to buy the company anyway. So if you get put the shares, you're happy to buy them because it's already at a price that you want to pay for them. Now, this won't make sense to anyone who doesn't really know about options trading, but I found that this part was really cool. And they also go over some very basic options trading strategies, such as bull put spreads. And also they briefly touched on things like iron condors. And that kind of sparked my interest a lot in the options side of things and made me want to kind of research that area more as well. And what they do during the kind of session with options is make sure that you kind of think of this as two separate things. You need to kind of partition your mind a little bit to think of options as being used as part of more of a kind of probability strategy. So with investing, you're focusing on like the certainty and looking at the fundamentals. Whereas when you're doing options trading, you're focusing on the probability and making sure that you're giving yourself the highest probability chance to make sure that you actually win the trade. So to just kind of give an overview of the course, I think it was absolutely great value. I mean, I paid nothing for the course. Obviously, I had to pay for my travel. I mean, I flew a long way, so the flight was quite expensive and the hotel was kind of reasonably priced, but that was all I really paid for it. And I think for that, it was like a really valuable experience. The one thing I would say is if you're kind of a very new investor when you go there, it's going to be really hard to take on so much information, because they really pack it in every day, kind of 10, 11 hours a day, apart from the last day, which is about 8, because people were going off to kind of catch flights and things like that. So I find it was kind of really hard to take all of that information in. So actually what happened after is, if you want to, you can take a further course, which is a paid course. So I did like a 6-month workshop, which was kind of with one of his tutors. Actually, it was Francis. So he was like absolutely amazing. So that course went for 6 months, doing like weekly webcasts and webinars, and then also homework as well. I paid around $6,000 to do that, but during the course there is no hard sell on the fact that you have to do this. It's purely up to you if you want to. If you're interested, you can kind of tell them at the end of the course, yeah, I'm interested in getting more information. And then after that, I did a couple of consultations just to see if the course was right for me. And then I started it actually probably a couple of months after I did the workshop. So I would say that was like a really kind of beneficial thing to do as well, if you have the money to do it, because obviously it's quite a lot of money to spend on that kind of thing. And also that's how the instructors end up doing the Rule 1 instruction course. So first they do there's a different like set of courses you can do. You can do like a 6-month course, a year course. I think there is one that's 2 years, and then you're qualified to be an actual like Rule 1 coach as well. But I just did the 6-month one because that's kind of the main thing that I can afford at the time. I thought that I'd gain enough from that to be able to start investing and doing trading on my own. So that was kind of the reason for me doing it. And I would say overall everything from the course was great. The instructors were great. I sign on to his website, so I kind of look at the toolbox regularly is kind of one of the ways to like look into information for companies and things like that. So overall I would say it's definitely worth it. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I know it's been slightly different just because I wanted to experiment with a different sort of format for my videos, because now I'm kind of 20 videos in and just wanted to see how these kind of videos compare with the ones that I've done so far. So please leave any comments on what you think about the video. If you do want to know more about Phil's option trading strategies, please leave a comment and maybe I'll make a future video about that. Or if you have any other kind of comments or questions about the course, I'd be happy to answer those as well. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.